Welcome to Bridge the Atlantic, where we get to know the people behind the creative industries. We're your hosts, music web designer Ross Barber, owner of Electric Kiwi, where we create awesome custom websites for bands, artists, and musicians.
And I'm award-winning singer-songwriter, actor, and indie filmmaker, Marcio Novelli.
Joining us this week is multi-award-winning actress, producer, and best-selling author, Illeana Douglas. With over 100 acting credits to her name, Illeana can be seen in movies including Goodfellas, Cape Fear, Ghost World, and The Green. She's also had recurring and guest star roles on 6 Feet Under, Entourage, Maron, Frasier, Seinfeld, and many more. Her pioneering branded web series for IKEA, Easy to Assemble, has been downloaded over 40 million times and has been called the most successful branded show of all time by Adweek.
Only 40 million, that's all. In addition to her acting work, she has also hosted Trailblazing Women on TCM and is a producer and co-star in the web series The Skinny for Jill Soloway's online network, Wifey.tv. We're excited to learn more about her career in the entertainment business and to hear about her new book, I Blame Dennis Hopper. Hi, Illeana.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome to the show, to this
Thank you.
Weird, crazy thing that we do here.
No, I can't wait. I'm ready.
All right. Well, Ross, should we start off the way we always start off right away?
Yeah, we like to start things off really, really awkward.
Okay.
And we want you to tell us 3 things about yourself that everyone should know.
3 things that everybody should know. I was raised Italian Catholic. My grandfather is Melvin Douglas. And I named my dog Chauncey Gardner after a character in Being There.
I love it. You've had a wildly successful and illustrious career. So what would you attribute your success to?
Well, probably just from reading the book and having so many book readings. One of the most fun things for me has been to have other people read aloud from the book. And I remember at one point, this actor, Robert Patrick, was reading aloud at an event, and he kept stopping and laughing and going, "Oh my God, did this actually happen?" And I always think that, I've had a tremendous amount of luck, but I've also had a tremendous amount of perseverance. I just never, believe in the word no. So I just keep going, really much to the dismay of everybody around me. But sometimes a little AD, sometimes a little learning disability maybe can help you, because I don't hear the word no. I just think, I think what they mean by that is that I'm still in the picture.
Right.
So a little bit of delusion maybe has taken me a long way.
But I think you need that. And, how important do you think perseverance is? I know that's kind of a silly question in a way, but, there's so many people that try to pursue things in life and give up, and
Yes.
so often just before something takes light. For anyone, for our audience right now who's an aspiring actor, trying to see even a percentage of the success you've seen, what sort of advice would you give them?
Well, I give 2 really solid pieces of advice. You never should take anything personally. That's number 1, because especially in show business, people yell at you a lot, or they're cross or short-tempered, and you can't take it personally. You really can't think it's because of you. And then the other thing is, I always tell people is which they're always very resistant to do, is I say work for free. Go be an intern somewhere, work for free. Because oftentimes, by working, some of the best jobs I got early in my career were not as an actor, as I write in my book. It was, working for a film publicist. But while all my other friends were doing, waiters jobs, I was basically like a very low paid intern. But in that environment, I was able to be around a lot of other filmmakers. So I always tell people, go to Craigslist. They have like film crews, sign up to be on a film crew. And people always look at me in shock, like, well, what, you mean be a runner, go get coffee? And
yeah,
like,
sure.
yes,
Why not?
You're on a movie set.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. So that's what I always tell people to do, and they look at me in horror. I'm not quite sure why.
You know what? I love that you. I don't know about you, Ross. I just love that she says that, because for me, that says no ego. That says you're willing to work and you just want to be in that industry. Obviously, you have a goal in mind, but you want to. You're there.
Yeah. Well, that's how I've always felt about my career is that I, of course, I always wanted to be an actor,
Sure.
but I always wanted to be a writer, but I just wanted to be in show business. If I'm somewhere near or around show business, I feel happy. It's better than, working in a toll booth. So it's all.
And when you're on set, even if you're a runner, I mean, you don't know who you're going to connect with, like naturally, rather than being in a restaurant.
Yes, that's
a cliche, right?
Yeah, that's what I always, and again, nothing against anybody who wants to go be a waiter. No. But as I said, early in my career, I just sacrificed money for being around important people. And the thing is, when you're getting someone coffee, you'd be amazed at the conversations that you overhear. And then you have the ability to kind of stick your nose in and say, I know you mentioned that, I know you were talking about ancient.
I was eavesdropping.
But, and sometimes people tell you to mind your own business. And then that's where my other piece of advice, don't take it personally. Yeah, but, it's a fine line between being pushy. The thing I tell people not to do is, write someone a letter like me or other, will you be my mentor? Mm-hmm. Can I pick your brain? I always think that's like, I have so little of my brain left. Don't pick at it. But if somebody comes to me, like I'm doing a movie and they say, I'd like to, work as an intern on your show, or then those kind of things really, I'm really impressed by that. And I really gets people, I think, in the arena where creativity is happening.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely. Yeah. That's all amazing advice. And I really hope that people take that on board and do something with it. Because,
I'm listening.
Stop picking my brain.
Yeah, Ross.
So I'd love to talk a little bit about your book.
Yes.
I Blame Dennis Hopper. So it's a memoir framed by movies.
Yes.
I suppose would be the best way to describe it. We'd love our viewers and listeners to check it out, but I was wondering if you could maybe share one of your favorite stories from the book as a sneak peek for everyone.
Well, the title of the book, I Blame Dennis Hopper, comes from the fact that, my whole family is very much a movie-going family. My grandfather was Melvin Douglas, the two-time Academy Award-winning actor. And my parents, when they were, courting, but living in New York, they used to always go see movies and go to the revival houses. And when they saw the movie Easy Rider in 1969, it just kind of, like many other people in the generation, it's kind of changed their life. And they decided to, go a completely different way and started, they had a commune called The Studio, and it was suddenly our whole lives were thrust into being hippies. And my father started, emulating the values of Dennis Hopper and the movie Easy Rider, and that plummeted us pretty quickly into poverty. It was supposed to be this great dream, it was the 60s. And it turned my life into this, direction that there was never any money. There was certainly never any money to go to college. So really becoming an actor for me, it just was like, well, what other thing was I going to do except become an actor? And I grew up, luckily for me, I was successful. And then, one day I get this call that, of course, I'm going to be in a movie with Dennis Hopper playing my father figure type lover. And that's where I was like, well, your whole life is like a movie. How often do you get a chance to meet the person that has literally changed your life? And I had this epiphany, while working with Dennis Hopper, that in a sense, people that are my age were all children of Dennis Hopper. Certainly for beginning the independent film movement in 1969, changing the way movies were made and distributed, but also in the ability that one movie, this anti-establishment, it predicted the rise of the hippie culture and the anti-establishment, anti-war feeling in America. And movies these days, we may go to a movie and we may love Star Wars, but, we're not going to go move to a planet far, far away. And movies had that impact on people. And I felt with my work now, working with Turner Classic Movies, classic film, we're almost getting away from how important it was to go to the movies. I mean, movies were really as you were saying, told the story of my life. And so that's basically the first story is about that. And it goes kind of in order, but each story is how a movie or a movie star profoundly affected my life. In some ways, I don't even, know the person. And in one story in particular, which is one of my favorite stories, is how I imitated Liza Minnelli to get into a theater group. And it ended up being my first sort of professional gig when I was 15. And we need, and that's the thing is like, we need. And sure enough, many years later, I got to meet Liza Minnelli. So it's always a little surreal for me. Each one of these stories has a kind of crazy, well, this is like a movie.
No kidding. It seems to really come around for you. And
yes,
it's almost like you said, like a film, like it's not reality. Like that's not supposed to happen type thing.
Well, it's, and like I said, there's been posters of people on my wall, and then I'm meeting those people. Yeah. And I often, I wonder, is everybody's life a movie or is it just mine? Like, right. I feel everybody's life is a movie, but mine sometimes feels particularly cinematic. I see things in pictures anyway. Right. So it all seems like a movie. I always have like a great soundtrack underneath everything I'm doing,
Well, I think Russ, you and I can sort of agree with that to a point. Even with this show, we've been able to interview people like yourself that we admire, and then go on to actually have relationships with down the road. And it's very interesting. It's surreal, but at the end of the day, people are people. Yes, and you're doing what you're passionate about, and it just so happens to reach a large audience. So getting to actually work with those people, it probably blows your mind at first, but then you probably are just so. I don't want to say used to it, but you start to realize that people are people.
Well, it's also, it's a very, our society right now is very cynical. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love about working with Turner is that there's such a great appreciation for someone, whether they only were in one movie that affected us or whether they have a whole body of work. Mm-hmm. And being around, movie fans and movie lovers they aren't fickle. They love their classic film stars. And so many times early in your career, you want to be, of course, you want to be, success, in a successful film, but things, there are peaks and valleys. And even a movie like Easy Rider, when I saw Easy Rider, I saw it like on television, I think when I was in high school, very cut up version of it. And I thought, this is the movie? This is the movie my parents threw everything away for? And it didn't make any sense to me. And then I started watching it a few years ago, and I thought, wow, this movie has such a resonance for me, almost, now more than ever, because the message of the movie is, these two hippie bikers, they're on this road trip, and they're looking, through what is like a broken America and talking about freedom. And now we no longer even have the ability to be free. Like, that's gone. So there is no more freedom. I mean, we're here we're here until the second Big Bang, I have a feeling. So
did you learn anything different about yourself by writing this book? Because this, writing a book about your life kind of, I don't know, I feel like it would give you such insight or maybe confuse you more. Who knows?
No, I tell everyone they should, even if not asked, everyone should write a book about your life.
Why is
because
that?
You learn. For me, it's always as an actor, of course, you're like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I, am I doing anything to help anyone? And so you discover a lot about who you are and, what you're made of and your roots. So many times, like, again, it's a little like George Bailey. You're like, oh, I guess I actually did accomplish something. You never think that, you were running and running and running. And then when you write a book and you see all these pictures, you're like, wow, I'm exhausted. I did all that, And so I look back on decisions I made, like to do the movie Alive, because part of the reason I did the movie was this idea that we were going to live on a mountain and go to the set in a helicopter. And I thought, well, this is early in my career. What if I never have that opportunity again? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I think, oh my God, thank God I did that movie, because I learned so much from doing that movie, and the excitement of, shooting on a mountain and how challenging it was. But sometimes you just got to go for it. And I look back on writing some of these stories that I thought, well, who's going to be interested in Rudy Valley or Roddy McDowell? And sometimes those have been the stories for people that have been the most poignant, because they're learning about these people and how they impacted my life. And I think that that's what I've been told, that whether or not it's movies, for some people it's music, but these people, these larger than life artists, also get us through these tough times, mm-hmm. And every time that I met one of these people, it was like a bell went off in my head, and I felt it was important to to tell their story. It keeps them alive, not only in the movies, but what they were like personally, and how they impacted my life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Would you say that it is so important to just say yes?
Definitely. I mean, I do that all the time. It's like, mm-hmm. You'd be amazed how much energy that by just saying, by just spending the whole day and going, yes,
sure. What do you have to lose?
You meet a lot of people that way, if that's what you want. Right. That was that's always my thing, is I want to, when I'm 95, just be like, wow, I did a lot. I have no regrets. I always want to have no regrets. So far, so good. And one of the really rewarding things is so many people that have read the book, because it's a roadmap of movies. Also, I mean, there That's must cool. be 100 movie references. In fact, some people have put together for me, movies, just the movies that I mentioned, and then they're watching all the films that I mentioned, and then they reach out to me, and that's really exciting too. Just to get to have other people talk, read about Peter Fonda and then go watch all of his movies, or Rudy Valley or Roddy McDowell, all these people that that made these fantastic films.
I feel like that's so generous of you too, because your book sounds the opposite of most autobiographies, which is usually pure narcissism. And it's not. Your book is almost about everyone else, and just how that from what I can see, has affected you and made you the person you are. And that's so giving, that's so generous, which kind of seems to have a parallel between you as an actress and being a very generous actress that works well with other actors.
Yeah, well, I had absolutely no desire writing a book about, me and my career. I've read a lot. I love reading celebrity autobiographies, but it's not interesting to me. And I'm always been, my whole life, as I said, I've been an observer, and I like to observe people. And I feel that that's, that the whatever writing gift I have is to be in the movie as I write, an insider and outsider, and that I'm in the film, but I often have felt like I'm outside the film studying the people. Okay. And again, in one of the chapters that I wrote about with Richard Dreyfuss, here is an example of somebody. I watched him as a kid, and then I had an opportunity to work with him, and then with Turner, with TCM, interview him. And so it's a slightly different perspective from a classic interviewer. It's almost like I'm acting in a scene with them when I'm interviewing them, and when I'm writing about them. I'm writing from the perspective of being a movie fan, but then also having worked with them. And I try to bring something, again, to each person that I write about that is slightly unexpected. And that's always been I try to use my the qualities that I have as an actor when you're acting in a scene with them to pick up little nuances about who they are, but then tell a story with them. And so again, one of the stories in the book, it's called Me Doing Dreyfus Doing Tracy, which is based on me when I was in acting school, and whenever I would get in trouble, I would just be like, I'm just going to do Richard Dreyfuss. I'm just going to do a Dreyfus here. And when I met Richard Dreyfuss and I told him that, he said, that's funny because I used to always imitate Spencer Tracy. And I said, wait a minute. So I'm not even I'm doing you doing Tracy.
That's amazing.
So that to me was it's like one painter copying another painter to, getting your style. And, nobody knew I was doing Richard Dreyfuss, but that's what gave me the confidence to kind of get through some rough spots until you kind of find your own thing that you want to do. Now, what's funny about the story is that very much like with Dennis Hopper, then, of course, one day I'm going to get cast in a movie with Richard Dreyfuss. And how's this going to work out? So I like to, you were saying like writing about your career. It's like, to me, that's not interesting. But as an actor, you learn a lot of practical things of what's it like on set? Like, what can I expect? What happens when you get into trouble with a scene? How do you act a scene when you're on a mountain? So all of these different scenarios as an actor, I try to write about from a more, obviously funny because I'm funny, but a more practical, point of view.
Well, how do you approach it when you run into trouble in a scene? What do you do?
That's another chapter, that I write about, which is called What's It Like to Work with Robert De Niro, which is my, my question, wherever I go, like, what, can I ask you what's it like to work with? So I thought, okay, well, that's a very interesting question. So let me write an entire chapter. Like, I don't want to be flippant about it, because you don't have time. You go, he's great, he's amazing, he's a genius. Right. But I thought, well, this will be really interesting. Let me write an entire chapter from an actor's point of view of what is it like to work with Robert De Niro. And it's really dedicated to acting. That's a real interesting, and that is like when you get in trouble, when you get intimidated by somebody that's so larger than life. And we feel that in life too, and so in that instance, it talks about like an epiphany that I had where I was going to have to remove him from the equation. Otherwise, I just would be acting with Robert De Niro. And that's something that's interesting and practical, probably can relate to other people that have been in that situation where you're meeting someone who's, somewhat larger than life. Mm-hmm. And how do you take that person out of the equation? That's a very good metaphor for life, and just do your job as an actor and forget about what anybody thinks or any of those things. So in that sense, it talks about, an actor preparation. And I studied at the Neighborhood Playhouse, which is an incredible school started by Sanford Meisner. And Sanford Meisner was a great acting teacher, as was Stella Adler, who taught Marlon Brando. And then there was also Lee Strasberg, and they each had their different methods of acting, and each one offers very practical, interesting advice. And so that chapter tells a lot about, acting technique. And you do find yourself oftentimes, as I write in the book, there's 3 or 4 examples of movies where you're really like, oh, I'm in trouble here. What am I going to do? And I, again, thought that would be something that was very interesting, that people have told me who've read the book, like that, oh, nobody ever writes about what it's actually like to be on the set, the physical, not here I am winning my Oscar, but what happens when, the shot goes wrong and you have 20 minutes to shoot this. And so there's a lot of that kind of, sort of practical feeling as if you're on the set. And what's been great is that everybody who reads the book says, now I want to go back and watch the movie. So that to me is the most rewarding thing.
I can tell you, I cannot wait to read this. We haven't had a chance to read it yet, and we cannot wait to read this. I was excited to read it beforehand, but now you've just gotten me like really psyched to read your book. So
well, I've been told my favorite thing is when my friends we've been doing these readings, around town, and also I've been touring.
Right.
And the thing I keep, I was at an interview and I said to someone, well, it's a very fast read. You'll read it at one sitting. And then they laughed you're like, well, that's kind of conceited. And I said, no, that's what people keep telling me. They're like, I couldn't put it down. Because each one is a story. That's what's great about it. You don't have to, you can pick it up in the middle.
Kind of like a short story book.
Exactly.
When I
was a kid, I was obsessed with short story books.
Yeah.
And J.D. Salinger.
Probably because of the ADD, right?
Yes.
Yes. I can relate to that. It's like, that's as much as I can handle now.
I was like, okay, right. I know I can write. And the idea that you could pick it up anywhere. Yeah. I'm like, God, I don't like being hemmed in. Like I got to read the beginning and the end. I was like, you can read the last chapter. And,
I love it.
And it's great. You don't have to skip to the end because there is no end. There's 15 stories. And there's a lot more stories. Two of the stories ended up getting dropped out. So hopefully for book 2, if everybody buys the book, then I'll write even more stories.
Illeana, are you ready for 20 questions?
I'm ready. Wait, I'm pouring my tea. Am I going to
Okay, good. I have my tea too. Well, you know what? That works perfectly because the first question is coffee or tea?
Tea!
We all drink our tea.
Meat or veggies?
Oh, veggies.
Good. I'm vegan, so that makes me very happy.
I know. I'm a cheater. I'm a pescatarian. So
that's okay. That's okay. You're still better than Ross. Still better than Ross that eats me.
Full-blown carnivore here.
Good.
TV or Netflix?
Ooh. I guess TV. I'm going to classic TV. Yeah.
Going to old school. Okay.
Yeah.
Twitter or Facebook?
Ooh, I guess Facebook.
Yoga or yogurt?
Oh, yogurt. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Does that disappoint you?
Yeah, because you're from Los Angeles. I thought yoga. I'm stereotyping now. Sorry.
Yes.
Theater or film?
Oh, film. I'm a filmy.
Yeah. Connecticut or California?
Shoot, that's a tough one. Oh my God, they both begin with C. I'm going to go California because that's the center of the movie business.
We ask the tough questions here on Bridge the Atlantic.
Yes.
We do. They're going to get tougher.
Okay.
Education or experience?
Oh, definitely experience. Definitely.
Oh God, we're actually asking you this question. Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake? What are we doing here? Why are we even asking this? Ross, it's embarrassing.
Oh my God. Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake? It's actually the hardest question. I'm going to go with Justin Timberlake.
Thank you. Whew.
Yeah. He makes movies. He was very good in The Social Network. He
was actually. Yeah, he was. Canada or Scotland?
Oh, that's brutal. Brutal.
You're going to offend one of us.
God, that is so... All right, I'm going to have to go Canada because I've made movies there. But I love Scotland. Do you want me to take out my plaid? I'll take out my plaid blanket that I got.
Oh, Roz is wearing plaid too.
When I was at the Edinburgh Festival, that was like my big joke. Was like I kept everywhere I went. I was like, "Is there a store that maybe sells plaid? I don't know. I'm having a. If anybody knows, could I get a scotch? Is there any scotch that I get? Because wherever you go, like down the street, you're like, why do I need? I need plaid underwear." And scotch. I need to go to another scotch.
Those two go really well together. Plaid underwear and scotch.
Well, that's all I did. I went to the
imagining really crazy nights.
Yeah. Oh, it was cold though.
Yeah.
So cold.
It's cold.
But I loved it.
Ventriloquism or magic? Sorry, I jumped in there. Sorry.
Oh, that's torrid. Love both. I'm going to go with magic. I love magic.
Comedy or drama?
Oh, comedy.
Tina Fey or Amy Poehler?
Brutal. I'm going to go with Amy Poehler because she was my boss.
Yeah, there we go. That's a smart move. I was going to say, we're going to get into trouble here, Ross. Jeez.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Hopefully none of these will. So, Marlon Brando or Liza Minnelli?
Brutal. I'm going with Marlon Brando. Yeah.
This is one of our special questions, but Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton with the hand power grab right here.
I guess you got to go with Michael Jackson. Classic moonwalk.
You have to.
Yeah.
But Michael Bolton does have the power grab. Let's not forget that. He ruled the early 90s with those power ballads. Let's not forget.
Yes. And he was he was on Dancing with the Stars, I think.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We want to get on the show.
Let us not forget that. Yes.
Lest we forget.
Celine Dion or Marilyn Manson?
Oh, Celine Dion, definitely. Yeah.
What a voice, huh?
Yeah. She's got a great, and yeah. And, she will go on.
Absolutely. Ricky Gervais or Ricky Martin?
Oh, that's sad. I guess Ricky Gervais. I mean, he brought us The Office and Extras and so many wonderful.
Why is it sad?
Well, because I like them both. It's I don't want to be that I'm anti-Ricky. I'm just picking the other Ricky because he's in my tribe. He's in my comic tribe.
And he doesn't adhere to the kind of, I don't know, he just stands outside of the industry in a way and just doesn't care, or at least appears to not care. Because he doesn't need it, because he's got his own, well, he does. He's got his own kind of thing going, so,
Maybe he doesn't care. Maybe you're right.
Maybe, who knows?
Call him and ask him.
If you've got his number, we'll happily take it. That's all I'm saying.
Don't have his number. He doesn't call me. I don't understand.
Well, Gervais, Jesus. Well, let's talk to him.
Yeah. Whale or kale?
Oh, whale, definitely. Definitely. I'm off the kale. There's too much kale. What's so great about kale?
Illeana, you were the first person to answer that so quickly and not question. Most people look at us like, I don't get it. Whale or kale? We're like, it rhymes. We're like, that's all. It's just rhymes. That's what we're doing here. We're rhyming. Bette Midler or the Riddler?
Ooh, Bette Midler.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Great Bette Midler performance.
She's awesome.
Now, this may be the toughest question, maybe the easiest question.
Okay.
Either way, we'll be insulted? Someone?
Yeah, either way, one of us is going to end up crying.
Oh,
no! It's Ross or Marcio.
That's not fair.
Dun, dun, I'm also an actor. I
have a cute dog on my lap.
Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time. And
I loved you in 6 Feet Under.
Look at us groveling. Oh my God. It's embarrassing. Shamelessly too, eh?
Oh, has anyone not answered that? I can't do it. I can't.
Do it,
it's
okay.
like Sophie's Choice. Come on.
Wow. Now I'm really complimented that you just compared it to that. Wow.
I can't. It's too cruel. I can't. It was hard enough to do Canada, Scotland. I refuse to answer. If this interview must end over this question, so be it. So be it.
Oh my gosh. Well, it won't end. It'll end soon. But before we do end, I want to ask you, what's the most important skill for an actor, both as a craft and from a business standpoint? What's the most important skill an actor should have? Probably,
flexibility. Because again, you find yourself in so many situations where you want to be resistant. And, just to give you an example, when you're on movies, when you're making movies, it's not perfectly, or it's not like you're in acting school. It's not perfectly ordered. And so sometimes, they may come to you and say, listen, we have an issue, and it would be save us $10,000 if we do your big, crying scene tonight. And you have to go. You can't go. No, I was planning it tomorrow, and that's
I'm not prepared.
You just have to go. Yeah, I can do it. And I think that that's part of being. We use this broad term, being a professional, but I think that that's what being a pro is that, you're low maintenance, but it's the underneath is just a flexibility in everything. And, you prepare for something, but again, when you get to the set, you have to be flexible and adapt. And so many times in life, even in my writing the book, I'm very open. Like, you may have an idea of what it's going to be, but I always change. Sometimes people get frustrated with me because I go, you know what this really is? And I sort of change what I'm doing organically as I go on. And they're not flexible.
Oh, really?
But I like flexibility. Sometimes you have definitive ideas, like when I'm directing, I'm like, no, it's got to be this. But sometimes, again, you have to have flexibility. If an actor is not interpreting something that you're doing, you have to have flexibility that it's either not working or you're not explaining it right or something like that. So that would be, I mentioned 5 words, but underneath it, it's all flexibility.
And being prepared for the unprepared, would you say? Yes,
definitely. But again, and then the other, it's such a broad term, but like having a sense of humor about it. It's right. It's no big deal. I always tell everybody to fail a lot, like before.
Okay, well, I've already done that.
Yeah. But it's like, that's because once you fail, that's, usually underneath everything is like, it's just, we have this tremendous fear of failure. But the thing is, once you fail, like it's when you're learning how to do something and you fall, right? Once you fall, you go, oh, okay, I fell. I look like an idiot. But let me get up. The world, unfortunately, right now, as Mike Tyson learned, once you fall in public, they're going to show that 8,000 times to kind of make fun of you. So in your private life, in your rehearsal life, fail. I always tell people, like, paint really bad pictures, do really bad Shakespeare, like do everything and fail. And you know what I mean? You find out that way. It's like you got to do a lot of things and to find out what you are good at. People don't want to. I'm a huge proponent of singing, of public singing, and people will say, "Well, I don't have a very good voice," and it's like, does it really matter? It's like, so singing in groups is good. I think it builds your confidence, but do all of that in the privacy of your home. And again, painting a picture is a good example of you reach a point where you're like, I've ruined it. It's horrible. And then you just want to throw it away. But it's like, if you don't give up, if you go beyond that point, where you're like, all right, I fucked up. I put too much black there, but let me go beyond that. And usually then it's like, it turns into something. But so many times I find, and I don't know if it's the way people were raised, once we have a little twinge of failure, we just want to like give up. And I always think it's better to go beyond the failing part. You can really achieve something interesting.
You're so inspiring. I love this. Yeah. You were just like, I love it. I know if I'm talking to you and I'm feeling this way, I just know our audience is going to love this because this is such truth. You're just speaking such truth. And coming from you, that it just means so much. So I think everyone needs to go to IlleanaDouglas.com. And on Twitter, you are Illeana Rama.
Yes, on Twitter, I'm Illeana Rama. I'm Instagram, Illeana Rama. And Facebook, I'm Illeana Douglas. We also have an I Blame Dennis Hopper Facebook page, and people can check out where I'm going to be going next. I'm going up to San Francisco, and then I'm going to be in Taos. I'll be in...
Come to Toronto.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. We got to get somebody to bring me up there. I love Toronto.
We could talk about that. I would love to talk about that. Do it.
Yes, for sure. Come over here. I would love it.
And as for me, I'm working on my second solo album, and you can hear my music at marcionovelli.com. I recently released my award-winning documentary, Walking Proof, which chronicles the making of my debut solo album, which you can watch for free at marcionovelli.com/walkingproof. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, all those fun places, which are all /Marcionovelli.
And I'm working on websites for various artists at the moment, and I'm also in the early stages of writing my first book. You can check out my work at electrickiwi.co.uk. You'll find me on Twitter and Instagram as Electric Kiwi, and on Facebook, Electric Kiwi Design.
This episode was brought to you by Chris Keaton, Alyssa Parma, Buck Naked Soap Company, and Social Surge. All links are in the show notes, so make sure to check them out.
And if you'd like to sponsor the show, visit patreon.com/bridgetheatlantic.
Illeana, honestly, this has just been, I could listen to you for I think we need to do 5-part episodes of this or something like that. I could just listen to you again and again.
How's it going?
Well, do you know what's funny? I actually have been listening to Illeana all day because kidding. I've listened to pretty much every single podcast interview you've done today as research. But I just love listening to you talk. I love hearing your stories. And I know that people watching, listening to this are definitely going to take a lot away from everything you've shared. So
thank you. I love your positive energy. Yeah, you just have such a great vibe and a positive energy. And thank you so much. Please do come back. We want you to come back on. All right.
I would love it. Yeah, as I continue on my journey.
One last thing, I challenge our audience. I challenge our audience to draw the worst picture you can draw, just out of pure excitement and expression, and post that either on our Twitter, Facebook, and tag all of us in it, and we can have a good laugh. And we'll all do one ourselves and share with all of you. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
It's so liberating. Just
Absolutely.
The worst, stupidest. You do things when you're a kid. I mean, I use this example with a painting because you walk into someone's house and you're like, wow, that is an amazing, where did you buy that contemporary art? And it's like, my 5-year-old did that. It's always and then we reach this point where our brains get involved, and then it's stick figures and so.
So postmodern.
I know. No, I look at things in my mom's house. I'm like, I was so good when I was 7. What happened?
Thanks for watching Bridge the Atlantic. If you like what you saw, make sure to like, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe so that you don't miss each week's episode.
Please feel free to leave us a comment letting us know what you think of the show.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can listen to us on the go. Thanks again for being awesome, and we'll see you on next week's episode.